Good late afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Sage and you're watching 𝐊𝐿𝐴 TV live from Sydney. And this is the last show of the day, the last trade. And before we get started in today's market close commentary, we'll just have to take we will just keep going with today's market close commentary. Sorry about that. There's no better way to end the day than with today's market close commentary. So in today's show, we're going to take a look at the overall ASX 200's performance of the day and also explore gainers and losers. We'll also look at the details of the companies that were in the news today, like Whitehaven Coal, API, Wesfarmers, Myer and Austal, as well as much more. Then I'll share the trending updates from the Asian markets in the last segment, along with a special report on cryptocurrencies. So let's dive straight in. The Australian shares closed higher on Thursday, reversing previous session's losses. Tracking firm Global Q's, while investors also cheered easing of some of the COVID-19 lockdown restrictions. And the market also got a boost from higher commodity prices and defence deals between the US, UK and Australia. And adding to it, investors also reacted positively to the jobless data. The benchmark index, the ASX 200, ended 0.58% higher. And earlier today, the index crossed above its 50-day moving average. Earlier today, the index opened higher and rose as much as 0.95%. And in a rare sight, the market witnessed broad-based buying, with all 11 sectors ending in the positive terrain. The energy sector was the biggest gainer, rising 1.25% on a spurt in the crude oil prices. It was followed by the healthcare sector, which gained 0.9%. Among others, AREITs, materials, financials, industrials, utilities and telecoms settled with modest gains. Information technology and consumer staples also ended marginally higher, pairing the earlier losses. And on the economic front, Australia's unemployment rate declined to 4.5% in August. Data released on Thursday showed that the fall in the jobless rate was lower as compared to 4.6% a month earlier, and analysts' forecast of 4.9%. The drop in the jobless rates was reported despite lockdowns in New South Wales and Victoria, which forced businesses to lay off workers. The data from the Australian Bureau of Statistics showed employment falling by 146,000 in August, compared to the economists' forecast of a drop of 80,000. And let's look at the top gainers and losers of the day. And shifting our lens over to the stocks that grabbed the investors' attention today, shares of the Australian department store chain Myer surged nearly 16% in the intraday trade on robust annual earnings. The high street retailer's net profit after tax increased to 50.7 million Australian dollars for the financial year ending June 30th, 2021, compared with a loss of 11.3 million Australian dollars in the previous year. And the company swung back to profits despite ongoing business disruptions caused by lockdowns, thanks to the strong growth in online sales. And shares of Australian pharmaceutical industries rallied over 17% to hit a 52-week high on receiving revised on-binding proposal from Wesfarmers. The top gainer on the ASX pack was the gold miner Chalice Mining, which ended 5.8% higher. And some of the other top performers were chemicals business Incitec Pivot and insurance broking firm AUB Group, natural resources developer South32 and healthcare firm Healius. And meanwhile, the online retailer Redbubble topped the losers chart by falling 6.7%. And some of the other notable losers were investment firm Washington H. Soul Pattinson, lithium miner Pilbara Minerals and the corporate bookmaker PointsBet Holdings, as well as the miner Orocobre. Let's shift our lens now to the stocks that grabbed the investors' attention today. And shares of the Australian department store chain Myer surged nearly 16% in the intraday trade on the robust annual earnings. The high street retailer's net profit after tax increased to 50.7 million Australian dollars for the financial year ending June 30th, 2021, compared with the loss of 11.3 million Australian dollars in the previous year. The company swung back to profits despite the ongoing business disruptions caused by lockdowns, thanks to the strong growth in the online sales. And shares of the Australian pharmaceutical industries rallied over 17% to hit a 52-week high on receiving the revised on-binding proposal from Wesfarmers following the announcement. And shares of Wesfarmers rose as much as 1% in the revised proposal. And Wesfarmers proposes to acquire 100% of the API shares for the cash consideration of $1.55 Australian per share, a 35.4% premium to the closing price per share on 9th July 2021. And earlier in July this year, Wesfarmers had offered a proposal of $1.38 Australian per share, which was rejected by the API board. The revised proposal provides for the payment of fully franked dividends of up to a maximum of 5 cents per share, including any final dividend for the financial year ended 31st August 2021. The API board has urged shareholders to consider the revised indicative proposal and allow Wesfarmers to undertake confirmatory due diligence. Whitehaven coal shares gained as much as 5.3% after Australia's largest independent coal miner got approval for a New South Wales mine. The Environment Minister, Susan Ley, has given the last outstanding approval to the company that was required to restart the Vickery coal mine in New South Wales. And shares of Australian engineering company Worley dropped nearly 3% after Jacobs Engineering Group sold shares in the company. The company said Jacobs had entered into a block trade agreement with Citigroup Global Markets Australia to sell its entire 9.85% stake in Worley via a block deal. And Jacobs had become a Worley shareholder following Worley's acquisition of the Jacobs Energy, Chemicals and Resources division back in October of 2018. Jacobs was released from the lockup of Worley shares in December 2019. And shares of defence contractor Austal surged 7.7% in the intraday trade as investors cheered the new pact between the US, Australia and the UK. And under the new defence agreement, Australia will acquire its first fleet of highly prized nuclear-powered submarines. The deal is seen as a move to counter China's growing influence in the Indo-Pacific region. Austal, the Australia-based global shipbuilding company, builds ships for the US Navy and has facilities in the US and Australia. It's a global defence prime contractor which designs, constructs and sustains some of the world's most advanced commercial vessels. An iron ore miner Fortescue Metals Group's shares dropped as much as 1.5%, pairing the opening gains. The company informed its shareholders this morning that it has established a culturally safe mining joint venture with the Wintawari-Guruma Aboriginal Corporation to oversee the new mine development. And the joint venture will mine the East and West Queens deposits in the eastern Guruma country. It will happen under a 10-year mining services contract to be awarded to the new joint venture worth over $500 million Australian dollars. Shares of Jada Resources fell nearly 3% after the company signed a pact to acquire lithium, tin and tantalum assets in East Pilbara. It has entered into an agreement to acquire 80% of the Shaw River project in the East Pilbara region of Western Australia from Calitos. The transaction involves cash payments of 50,000 Australian dollars and 400,000 Australian dollars worth of Jada ordinary shares at 3 cents apiece. The acquisition strategically expands Jada's portfolio of mining assets to service the battery technology and high-growth electronic sectors. And moving on to the next segment, let's take a look east towards the Asian market's performance. And shares in the Asia-Pacific region were mostly bleeding in the red, pairing the opening gains led by China and Hong Kong. Even strong cues from Wall Street failed to lift the market sentiment. Hong Kong's Hang Seng extended its fall for the second day and emerged as the worst performer in the region. The index dropped nearly 2%, led by casino shares such as Wynn Macau, Sands China fell and Melco International Development. In mainland China, the Shanghai Composite fell nearly 0.7%, while the Shenzhen component tumbled over 1%. In a similar trend, the Nikkei 225 index dipped 0.6%, while the Topix slipped 0.4%. South Korea's Kospi declined as well, 0.5%, while Taiwan's weighted index was trading 0.5% lower. Bucking the trend, the Straits Times in Singapore rose 0.3%, while Thailand's SET Composite gained 0.2%, and Indonesia's Jakarta Composite traded marginally higher. India's BSE Sensex also surged 0.3% in the opening deals. Meanwhile, Wall Street ended higher in the overnight trade on strong economic data and increased oil prices. The waning concerns about an ease in inflation and an ongoing return to economic normalcy also boosted the sentiment. The Dow Jones surged 0.68%, while the S&P 500 rallied 0.85%. The Nasdaq Composite added 0.82% during the session. And in this segment of the show, let's have a quick look over the crypto market's performance. The price of major cryptocurrencies surged today, with Bitcoin trading above the US $48,000 level amid a slew of positive developments. America's largest movie theatre chain, AMC Entertainment Holdings, has announced it will accept Bitcoin for online ticket and concession payments. The company's CEO, Adam Aron, said in a tweet that the AMC theatres will accept cryptocurrency by the end of 2021. As investors reacted positively to the US consumer price data for August, the slower than expected rise in US inflation created uncertainty about the timing of the Federal Reserve's bond tapering. And barring Cardano and Solana, 8 of the top 10 cryptos were trading higher. Boosted by the development, the price of Bitcoin rose nearly 3%. The most popular currency has gained nearly 4.5% in the last 1 week. And Ether, the world's second largest crypto, jumped 7.5% up to $3,650, while surging nearly 4.5% in the last 7 days. And meanwhile, Cardano, the third largest cryptocurrency by market cap, climbed over 4%, while Dogecoin climbed as well, 2.5%. Other virtual currencies such as Litecoin, XRP, Stellar, Tether, Uniswap and Binance Coin were all also flashing in the green. And that's all for today's Last Trade Market Close commentary by 𝐊𝐴𝐴𝐴 TV. Please stay watching 𝐊𝐴𝐴𝐴 TV for more of the latest market updates and expert talks. And this is Sage signing off.